Hello, I'm Melissa Cruz from Broken Sea Farm. Today my husband is coming in from work after being gone for 2 weeks, and I'm going to make him fried deer steak, french fries, and a molasses cake from the syrup that we make from the cane we grow every year. Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to crack 2 eggs. This is a make on how my papa used to marinate his deer steak. And you're gonna whisk them up. And to that, you're gonna shake up 2 cans of evaporated milk. I have Carnation. You can use the other kind. I just prefer Carnation. And then a sprinkling of garlic salt. I'll probably put about a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half. And then get you some, we call it Worcestershire sauce. I really don't know how you pronounce it. Give it a good shake. And you want to give you several. I just shake it. I don't know the measurements. And then your spoon, and you're gonna mix that up. It's gonna look like this. And then I thawed out 2 pounds, which is 2 packages for us, of deer steak that we process ourselves. We do not have somebody process it for us. We do our processing ourselves. I like good clean. I don't like all that silver skin. Just gonna kind of break it apart, and you're gonna let it set. It's better if you do it overnight, at least I find, but I don't always do that. So he's not gonna be into this evening, so it'll have a good full day to marinate. So I'm gonna cover it with some Saran wrap. I don't know about y'all, but I got to have the kind with the little scissor cutter thing, or I have a big mess. So you're going to cover it with Saran wrap, and then you're going to put it in your ice box and just let it marinate until it's time to fry. So now we're fixing to make LG's molasses cake. First thing we're going to do is get 1 cup of molasses. Ours is the syrup, the blue ribbon cane syrup that we make. I don't like wasting anything, so I'm going to make sure I get all that syrup out. And then 1 cup of sugar. I have unrefined sugar. It means it's still brown. It hasn't been through all that process. And then you're going to add there's more, a 1/2 cup of oil. Four eggs. Half a teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon of baking soda. Right to level it. pinch of cloves, a pinch of allspice, and a pinch of cinnamon. So that's a pinch. You can add more if you want. Pinch of cinnamon. Pinch of allspice. And then I'm going to mill my flour for the cake. It takes 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, but I try to substitute fresh milled flour. And since it's not a yeast bread, I'm going to use my soft white wheat berries. My bowl in there so we can finish grinding. So I have my 1.5 cups of fresh milled flour. I'm going to add that to the bowl. And then I'm going to add 3/4 cup of buttermilk. Start off on the low and get it incorporated. This is going to be a liquidy batter. First time I made it, I was like, I thought I did something wrong. I'm going to turn it up to about number 6, and I'm going to mix it for about 4 to 5 minutes. So about halfway, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to scrape the sides. Turn it back on and let it finish its mixing. So it's finished mixing. So I'm going to get my greased brownie pan or cake pan, whatever you want to call it. It's a sheet pan. About the only thing that pan gets used for is brownies in this cake. And sometimes the people and you're fixing to see how runny it is, but I promise it makes it pretty. This is a very, very old recipe. Into my oven that I have preheated at 350 degrees. I'm fixing to peel 2 medium potatoes. And if you have a not so pretty spot, you just cut them off. They're usually bruised from all the shipping. And then I'm gonna rinse them off. So I'm gonna, he needs a sharper knife. Let me get another knife. That thing's about to the point it wouldn't cut hot butter. Ah, that's better. So I'm gonna slice my potatoes. This is the way I cut them. I'll show you how my mama cuts them in a minute. So this is how my mama cuts them. I have cut them this way. And then she just runs it. It's actually quicker this way, but when I used to teach, I had a kid. Poor thing didn't know that frozen French fries come from potatoes. He just thought French fries come out of the grocery store. Me and his mama still laugh about that. So I like to, excuse me, I like to cover mine with some cold water. And I just kind of smush them around. And then I pour that water off. And then I add fresh water. Make sure you cover them because if you don't, they're going to turn brown. And then I'm going to stick these in the ice box with the steak that I have marinated. So I've decided I have some yeast bread left from the other day when I was baking. And I think I'm gonna make some homemade Texas toast. I think that'll go good. So when I do this, I make my slices kind of thick, thicker than a normal slice of bread. You see? He usually eats 2, and I usually eat 1. So for my butter garlic mixture that I'm gonna put on top of my bread, I have some leftover Land O'Lakes. I don't usually buy butter, but I was out of cream, so I bought butter, and that's the tail end of it. And I so miss my garlic presser thing that I broke, so I'm gonna smash it. This sucker's the bomb too. Got it from Pampered Chef. Take it apart, and I just kind of wipe the garlic out of the rim. Then you take this apart. You'll have garlic up in there, so I wipe that off. I don't do that because that's the blades. I would cut myself. To that, I'm going to add to the butter. There's not a whole lot of butter left in there, so I'm just going to use the bowl. I'm going to add a teaspoon of garlic. I'm going to add my garlic cloves. And if you want parsley, add parsley. If you don't, don't. I added probably about 1.5 teaspoons. And I'm going to mix that up. And then that's what it looks like. Smear it on my bread. If you have some left over, just put it back in the icebox and you can make it again another day. And there we have it. Now I'm gonna line my cookie sheet with parchment paper, that way I don't have to wash it later. And why they don't make parchment paper on a roll to fit a standard cookie sheet is beyond me. So you just place it on there. And then I'm going to cover it with saran wrap because I'm not going to cook it till this evening when he gets home. Probably let it set about 5 minutes, and then we'll come in here and we'll slice this a piece. So it's been about 5 minutes, so I'm going to cut me a little sliver. Oh, birthday boy! I don't know how we're gonna get this recorded. I figured y'all might get a kick out of it. He's a stubborn little fart. So I figured for his birthday, I'd give him a bath. Hey. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be a lot better than being covered in poo. Which he's doing right now. Make sure you get all the soap off. I had to give him a bolus this morning. All the soap off. This is your birthday bath. I want to stay in front of this little part of the kitchen. The majority of this on the tails is going to have to wear off. Okay. Here we go. There you go. Come on. You run faster than I can keep up with it. Fixing to start frying some deer steak for my husband. I'm going to turn my fire on my cast iron skillet about medium. Have some oil in there. Then I'm going to drain off the cold water off my french fries. And then you're going to see me put them on a dish rag to soak up the water. And I'll be patting them dry because I want them as dry as possible because sweet oven bake ours. Then I'm going to put them in a bowl, and then I'm going to put about a tablespoon of oil and about a teaspoon of salt, and then I'm going to toss them until it's good and coated. And then you're going to make sure your oven's preheated to about 400. And then I'm going to put them on my parchment lined cookie sheet. Spread them out into a thin layer. And then put them in there to bake until they get a nice golden brown. And the flour that we milled earlier from the molasses cake, what's left, I'm going to put on a plate, season it with about a teaspoon of salt, and that's what we're going to dredge our deer meat in. And then I'm going to get a platter and I'm going to line it with some paper towels to put the fried deer steak on. And this is a trick I learned. You get a small wooden spoon or any wooden spoon, and when you stick it straight in there, if it bubbles immediately around the tip of it, your grease is hot enough. So now I'm fixing to start dredging my deer steak. And then when you place it into the oil, you'll hear an immediate sizzle. And that's when you know it's good. And I'm going to put a bunch of them in my pan. You don't want to overcrowd it. I tend to do that sometimes. And then you're going to just fry it up until it gets, you see how it gets that bloody look on top and it's brown everywhere else? That's when it's time to flip. Continue flipping all your pieces and cooking them on the other side until they're nice golden brown. Depends on how hot you have your fire. Mine is about 3 more minutes. When you get all that done, then you're going to go over there and you're going to start taking out your french fries out of the oven. They should be your golden brown, fork tender. And you're going to put your Texas toast in, cook it to a golden brown, and then you're going to have a meal made for a man, fit for a king. Thank y'all.